Yes, yes, yes.
So both of these duelists currently with a 4-1 record, and it looks like... Ooh, I really hope the Lunalight's not going first with that hand.
This is Mitsurugi going first here as well, starting off with the Prayers Tribute. Very strong start always from Mitsurugi. Always want to see that combination in your hand.
Yeah, the best thing about Prez is being able to utilize it during the draw phase, so it does allow it to play around that droll and lot bird, which can be quite a stumbling block if it's utilized during the main phase as well.
Absolutely. We do see the summon of the Iron Master as well, so getting that search off, as well as that extra monster on the field to be able to do rank 4 plays, to be able to do link plays here and there, just gives you a bit of extra versatility if you keep that on the field as well.
Yeah, exactly that one. And we can very easily see the Mitsurugi kind of strategy start to take shape here. And the one kind of big important thing to see on this is the fact that everything's going back to pure Mitsurugi pretty much now.
Very much. To be fair, a lot of the bridges and a lot of the things that combine it with other decks have been hit on the Forbidden Limited list. And I think Mitsurugi became maybe a bit of a boogeyman amongst the community for a while, but I've never seen a single person genuinely complain about Pure deck. It's a cool deck. Pure Mitsurugi is a cool, fun, quite interactive and skill testing deck, and I don't think anyone would really contest that.
Yeah, I really, really like these, and obviously you can get hold of these in Legendary Modern decks right now. So again, very easily accessible. It's kind of a reason that a lot of duelists are utilizing Sky Strikers and Mitsurugi strategies here this weekend. But as you mentioned, the pure version, what it gives you is it gives you a lot of space for supporting cards.
Yeah.
Whether that be supporting cards for consistency pieces in forms of cards like Pot of Extravagance, whether it be consistency, whether it be aggressive pieces in forms of Super Polarizations, Forbidden Droplets, or whether it just be the general cards that will really slow your opponent down and interact from your hand with cards like Draw and Lockbird, Ash Blossom, and you already mentioned previously, Dominus Impulse as well could be massive here. And we are seeing a Call by the Grave on the first Fualos and a second one following up shortly after.
Absolutely. So, going to be able to get that off here. Having said that, Mitsurugi can play quite nicely into Fua without giving too many draws up. And given that Marley's now 2 cards down in the opening hand, you can really quite safely give up like 2 draws and still just be in the same position you were at the start.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think there's anything that we need to be worrying about here from Ruben's kind of position. The best thing you're doing is giving 1 draw, if that. I'm not sure if the Call by the Grave, how big of an effect that's had. Like, what I'm trying to say is, could we have held the Call by the Grave?
I personally, it's weird. I generally, if I'm going to use my Call by the Grave on it depends on the deck, to be fair. If I were playing this deck, I think I would have held it for the second one. You don't necessarily want 2 to resolve. 2 to resolve is quite a lot. But we do see the Baguska coming down here, actually, which is quite detrimental to Marley, I believe, because, for example, it's basically just a skill drain on legs, and that is tough into Lunalight. Doesn't affect Ligadancer, obviously, but you might not be able to get to Ligadancer through Baguska.
So, speaking of cards that are not going to affect Ligadancer, that is a Hand of Green.
That is potentially very bad. I want to double check.
I'm not too sure I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there is one spell card that I feel would be very, very costly, but could very easily change the tide of this game.
We do see the Lunalight Masquerade coming out here. Very powerful card, obviously, added, I believe, last year in Duelist Advance. And it's just a fantastic way to get the combo started in the deck and whatnot, sending the Luna Wolf, yeah, to the graveyard.
So the Wolf, with a little bit of setup, can set you up, or can set Marley up with a bit of an interaction here as well. We're just trying to resolve everything we need to off the Masquerade. We're going to be able to get ourselves our Lunalight Kaleido Chick as well directly from the deck. And I suppose what we currently see, we know we've got Purifications. We know there's Murakumo. We, of course, know that there is Baguska. Not Murakumo right now, because obviously under Baguska.
Yeah.
But there are those types of interactions that could come from Ruben.
And of course, the Kaleido Chip being such a powerful card here because it does just send for cost, which is all you want. The main effect of changing the name doesn't come up that. It comes up a little bit, obviously. You want to use it as the name Leo Dancer sometimes. However, a lot of the time, you're just using it for the send for cost, which is happening here, and hopefully getting Marley further into his own plays.
Yeah, so just kind of checking out Ruben's graveyard here to make sure there's nothing that's going to come back with a bit of venom. And is that looks like
I can see what looks like a polymerization. Heavy polymerization.
polymerization.
Oh, goodness me. That could be a real game changer here if that's not going to be stopped. But having said that, there is the Mitsurugi trap, which I believe is coming out here. That is going to be quite detrimental if there is not another heavy polarization in hand. It's not once per turn, I believe.
No, it's not, and it only take the damage of the monster you use as material. So at this moment in time, that's not a direct cost for Marley Essence, and I think Ruben's just reading it now to confirm if he could use a second copy. If there is a second copy of Heavy Polymerization in rotation for Marley's availability, that could be something that could be quite effective here.
It really is the second heavy poly that gets you sometimes. It really does get you like that. But we do also have the prayers here coming out and tributing the Futsu, which I'm not sure entirely. I didn't see what was added there. I think there's another Murakumo added to hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But that does also obviously give the opportunity, if wanting to. Bit of a question here as to what's happening by the looks of things.
So I think they're just having a bit of clarification over heavy polymerization, confirming if there is any life points to be taken, if there's any cards to be sent, but and just confirming how purification negates. But there isn't really anything there directly that
you only take damage of the attack of the things you send.
Correct.
So if you haven't sent anything, no damage is taken.
So we still have 3 more cards in Marley's hand here. We now know that Ruben is going to be bringing back the Murakumo and the Futsu here. We know that there is a guaranteed prayers. And then one more unknown. We're just about to search an additional bit of resource here as well, being the Mitsurugi mirrors.
Playing 2 in the deck as well, which I have seen a lot of people moving over to playing 2 of that. Obviously, it is a very unfortunate brick if you draw that plus pre-prep, because that just means you can't use pre-prep at that point. So it's good to use 2 for that, but also you can just use 2, and it's not a bad thing to hard draw with one of the rituals at all.
Ooh, and here's a Tenki. So 5 formation Tenki, we're going to be able to get, which, apart from Baguska, there's obviously going to be a revival of the Futsu at some point if there is no interaction from Marley directly. So you kind of need the ability to fusion someone now, right? Yeah,
I'd say so. But I'm by no means an expert at Lunalight, so I'm struggling to find the line here myself. I'm not saying it's impossible, of course, but I'm not sure how we're going to get there with this.
Yeah, especially with 2, we know that there's 2 spells.
Yeah.
Or we consider there's 2 spells in Marley's hand right now. So going for a Martin is not a bad one, because again, we haven't even committed our normal summon. So if we can get Martin to the graveyard, we can utilize Kaleido Chick again and send another material there.
We could also possibly, if we have a link one, which I don't know that we do, I could be wrong, but we could just go for like an SP here and out the Baguska straight away. I don't believe there's a link one, so we're not going to be doing that.
Okay, so we're going to be using polymerization here. So we're just going to be using it into go to Perfume Dancer. So that's one way to get your Martin and your Kaleido Chick off the field. And going into the Perfume Dancer here. And I think this is where we're going to start seeing a bit more resource go into Marley's favor now. Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, again, on the effect of Martin, I think it can summon itself from the graveyard here. And in doing so, now you can go into SP, out the Baguska.
Correct.
I'm not sure what the last card in hand is for Marley, but it might be the way that lets him play here.
Yeah, so we're just building the chain links here to make sure that we are happy to resolve. So we're just going to add that polymerization back from the graveyard to the hand. And then we're going to be able to get direct access to one of our Lunalights from the deck, which I believe we're going to be going for the sheet. Oh no, Lunalight Fusion. That's not a bad one to go for at all.
Not at all, not at all.
Yeah, so Martin adding a Lunalight spell or trap, being able to get direct access to Lunalight Fusion, and then the benefit of Lunalight Fusion is it kind of acts as, it gives you the ability to choose monsters from the hand or field as material, but if your opponent controls a monster special from the extra deck, which Baguska is, you can actually use a Lunalight monster from the deck or extra deck as material as well.
Which might be what is needed here to get things going. Having said that, I think Like Dancer needs more material than Marley has available to him currently. So it might still be in a bit of a tricky situation here before we can get going properly. You see the Lunalight Perfume coming out here as well. I think targeting the Kaleido Chick would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so the benefit of Kaleido Chick is I believe we can still activate, we can pay the cost.
Exactly, yeah, and it's not a hard one per turn at all, so you just keep, as long as you can keep recycling that Kaleido Chick, you can keep using the effect to send bodies.
We could use Perfume here, so we could need to discard a card, and then we get to... So any response? No response here. So we're going to be able to utilize the Perfume. So I think this is where the resource is going to be able to add a Lunalight monster from the deck to the hand. So this is going to give Marley currently We haven't sent anything off Kaleido Chick yet, but we do have the ability to utilize the Lunalight Fusion. Do we go for maybe a Lunalight Wolf here?
Potentially, yeah. I'm going to be intrigued to see how this plays out. Again, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to play around this Baguska. I think unless there is a way to just actively and quickly summon Liger Dancer, you kind of have to do something to do with the Baguska here.
Yeah.
Because it really is style. He's playing exceptionally well, all things considered.
Oh yeah, 100%. Having to play through, obviously, called by a grave on your full off straight away is going to be pretty painful. But
and I think that is the Liger Dancer coming out here as well. Boom! There we go.
So I think Ruben's just double checking the Lunalight Fusion to confirm that you can use from the extra deck or the main deck.
Yeah.
So that's how you're going to be able to get the stepping stone in order to work your way into the Liger Dancer.
This is going to be difficult for Ruben here to come back from this. Not impossible by any means. Oh wait, having said that, no, I actually think he might be done here. Because if Liger Dancer just activates the effect to clear Ruben's field, it can attack twice here and that'll be game.
Yeah, I think that I would be very surprised if we don't get to activate that right now. Specifically, that 800 off of the back of prayers could be the one that's going to finish the game off here. I think we're just confirming exactly what we're going to be doing. We'll just make sure there's no protection in the graveyard or anything else that could possibly stumble Marley's approach here. But very, very impressively kind of navigated here because you were staring down an Enfield of a Purification, a Futsu, a Murakumo, plus the Baguska. I just kind of question if the Baguska was made in a... Like, was the Baguska necessary? Because the Baguska gave a draw and on top of that, it kind of made it a little bit awkward. It wasn't impossible.
Still have to be prepared for it. Going into game 2 now, and I'm going to wait and see who's going. I'm assuming Ruben's going first.
I would assume that. Otherwise, it would be a very, very impressive move during... there it is. Oh, the one card.
The Di-Fi. That is difficult. I'll say, to be fair, again, not impossible to deal with, just hard.
Yeah, I think this makes it a little bit tricky because I was saying this, I believe, in round number 1. When you look at the type of field breakers that a lot of duelists are playing, more of them lean themselves collectively to monster removal.
Sure.
Now, the only card currently that can do both jobs, that is consistent and doesn't take out a huge amount of space, is Lightning Storm, which is great. And we did see it earlier on as well. There is always that opportunity of seeing 2 Lightning Storms. But I think the one thing that's got to be a little bit cautious on this one here is I would be very, very surprised if Mitsurugi do not end with Purification as well.
This is the thing as well. It's we also see a card in Marley's side deck which could be truly game-changing here, depending on what his opening hand is. I don't see it in the hand. I think I see the Lightning Storm in the hand there. So I don't think the Di-Fi is actually that much of an issue unless they want to protect it with the trap card. But there's another card in here which could be very nice if we rip it off the top deck, but that's going to be tricky to see.
Yeah, there are still definitely ways for Lunalights to play under Dimensional Fissure. There's definitely a couple of powerful spell cards that will let you bypass your need for the graveyard as well.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel that we're going to need a combination in this one to move past that Dimensional Fissure in order to kind of swing it back to Marley's favor.
Yeah.
But Ruben is going to try and navigate the best they possibly can in order to kind of present a field that is going to be a little bit difficult or a little bit harder for Marley to try and break through, like the previous one. But we've already seen Marley do it before as well. So this could be a very, very good... interesting interaction we're about to see here of the field being presented and then if Marley can take on the challenge for the second time today.
Very much so. I think I speak for a lot of people when obviously seeing good play in any way is always a joy and always a pleasure to see skilled players pilot their decks well. But something I love to see is a heavy engine hand just play into an established field and do well into that. It's always good to see. I didn't quite see what was drawn off the top deck there, but again, I think there is a Lightning Storm in hand. He's protected, but are we going to try and bait something out here to maybe make sure the Lightning Storm resolves?
See, I think this is going to be quite interesting. So I think that you've kind of traded a Baguska for a Dimensional Fissure, which in hindsight is not a bad trade-off on this particular matchup.
Not at all.
But Marley having a good old think here, just trying to break down the thought process where we're going. We're going to be starting off with that Lightning Storm.
I think the trap card might well be there.
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah, there you go. and therefore was it maybe a better idea to try and bait that out, or are you confident that you can still play around the dimensional fissure? It's not impossible, it's just
I
difficult.
think that is going to come down to the card that he possibly drew for turn, if it is the card that I think it is.
I did not spot that, but I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, I like to leave a bit of surprise, but it actually worked in the favour. There was like a very small handful of cards that could have come off the top of that deck that might have changed the course of this game, and I think we just saw it.
We did see the
there
heavy,
it is,
heavy
polymerization.
I don't believe... Well, there's no extra deck on the field. No extra deck monster on the field, so...
So the heavy polymerization is just going to be very, very costly to resolve here.
Very much so.
Because I can imagine you're going to want to try and work your way all the way up to the Liger Dancer. Now, Liger Dancer, unfortunately, won't be able to use its destruction effect because it has to go directly to the graveyard. But it will still be unaffected by card effects at 3,800.
It will be huge. Yeah, this is the issue. And it's, well, the issue there for Marley as well is that Mitsurugi can get over it with something like Dugaris.
Yeah.
So it's not an unoutable monster on the field. It's big and it's difficult to deal with, but it's, you know what, having said that, we might be in a bit of a tricky situation here if the monsters are all destroyed and banished, because although they can come back when they're tributed, and you get that with, is it Kusanagi, the purple one?
Yeah, yeah.
Purple guy. Something like prayers, I believe, can only summon them from graveyard, for example.
Yeah. So I feel like if we were to get the Liger Dancer, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it kind of puts Marley down to about 200 life points, probably a little bit less.
I
so
think it is something like that, yeah.
Not in the safest of positions. And I think we're just confirming what we... Oh, okay. So we're going to go to Perfume Dancer instead.
Interesting. Are we?
Oh, no. Sorry. So we're going to be using 4. Okay. So try and calculate the cost of this one.
So it's just the... Is it the extra ones that you pay for, or is it all of them?
No, so it'll be all of them, I believe.
Right.
I believe. Let me just double check that one.
No, I think you're right, to be fair.
Also, banish monsters from the extra material up to number of monsters your opponent controls. Okay, so we can only do 2.
Right.
Which is why we got rid of
the
Murakumo at that point. But you lose life points
sense.
equal to the attack of monsters banished this way.
So we're still on 2,500 life points, so it's not bad, not too bad. We're okay at the moment. We are getting to a bit of a scary area, but we're not losing yet. Oh, I think again it's still a little bit tricky given that we don't have any. There's nothing on the field here for Marley other than the Liger Dancer, which is not bad. It's just that it's not necessarily going to definitely do the job here.
Yeah, so it's not as big of a cost because it's only going to be costing us the life points for the attack stats of the monsters banished from the extra deck. So it's a little bit of a saving grace here. But that dimensional fissure is still going to be causing a lot of issues. I mean, we can get rid of... It kind of comes down to how prepared you are for the Mitsurugi matchup. Yeah. And it looks like we're going straight for the level 4, which kind of shows me that we're a little bit cautious of the... Of the Dagares, because that's the only way to out, correct?
Very much.
You've got, I suppose, Habakuri reduces your opponent's attack, so that's not enough because that's not going to affect the Liger Dancer.
Yeah. I think it's just Dagares.
So
I could be wrong, but I think it is just Dagares.
So depending on what else Marley might have access to.
Gorgon of Xenophonia, that one, unaffected.
It stops it attacking?
But it gains the attack of it, and therefore it can just attack over it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, correct. So your opponent cannot summon or set monsters to the zone this card points to. Monsters card points to cannot attack, and their activated effects are negated, which obviously that's fine.
Yeah.
It's equal to the total original attack of monsters this card points to.
So it just gets to 39.
And it can't be destroyed by battle monster effects while this card points to no monsters. Okay, yeah. So that's probably the way you need to get to it. We just need to get that third monster available to us. Which I suppose is probably not going to be too difficult to do.
No, I don't think,
down the arrow
especially
master.
Considering that we can't use the Liger Dancer's effect here to destroy the field either.
Yeah.
So I think this might be a bit of a tricky spot for Marley. Again, I don't think he's played poorly here at all. I think he's played very well under the circumstances. It's just that Dimensional Fissure is a heck of a card.
I suppose on the flip side to that, then, do you question? I mean, you take a bit of a risk, right? So if you were to start off by activating the heavy polymerization, and that gets purified, I suppose is the right term on that one. Does that then leave the door open to Lunalight, to the Lightning Storm? So what I'm trying to say is it more important that Lightning Storm cleared the Dimensional Fissure than it was for the heavy polymerization to get to that Liger Dancer, with a little bit of hindsight?
I think maybe. I think maybe. I think a better move might have been to heavy poly first, because the cards in hand were engine, which should play through interruption.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's not as if the cards in hand were bad other than that. So, hey, we may never know. That might, you know, we don't know where Ruben would have interacted with those cards, and may well have had enough just to stop things at that point.
Yeah, well, I think we're about to see exactly what you kind of spotted on that one, being the Gorgon entering the field of play here. So we're going to be trading that off with the Liger Dancer. I guess it then comes down to, can Ruben extend further? There's the answer is yes.
There we go. The Mitsurugi mirror coming out here as well. Being able to summon another Murakumo from the hand as well, which it's going to do a lot. It's going to do a lot here, to be honest. We'll see how this goes. Given that Marley only really has a couple of cards left in play after this turn, I don't think... Oh, wait, no, of course. Marley should be on 2,500 life points.
Correct.
This should be game, yeah.
So this should be enough to finish the duel off here, because the Liger Dancer goes, and and I think that Marley's seen on that one.
The idea of siding and then deciding to go second is not necessarily a bad move in the slightest. It just depends how confident you are to play into a field.
I think it also, it kind of tricks your opponent a little bit as well, because they're like, okay, so and you're going first, and you go, no, you're going first,
yeah,
and they're like, what?
But I do think we'd see Marley starting off here with the Lunalight Masquerade. Again, a fantastic card, which does so much for the strategy, and going to be sending that wolf to the graveyard as well.
Yeah, not a bad start here from Marley. 1 for 1, starting off quite effectively. Getting that wolf to the graveyard can be very important to set up with a form of disruption to play a little bit further through. Let's see what else we're kind of working our way towards. I'm trying to see that, again, I don't like to speak of people's hands, but there it is, the Dominus Impulse.
Tricky. Would that have been better saved for later on is my question, or are you just trying to stop the opponent from playing completely with his hand? It depends. I
suppose depending on what Ruben has, he's assuming that starting off with the Masquerade is probably kind of a sign that there might not be a direct starter in the hand. So they could work out in his favour massively, depending on if Marley has anything else to follow up with.
I think it's also a potential peek at Ruben's hand even, because I know, just from when I play at the very least, if I have maybe just 1 or 2 hand interactions, I'm just trying to stop the first thing and hope that's enough. Which might be what Ruben's doing here as well, because sometimes if you know your hand isn't great but you have 1 hand interaction, if you can't stop that first thing, it wasn't going to help either way, you know? Yeah,
I think just trying to reassess how this is, because I definitely don't think you use Impulse. I suppose maybe from game number 1, actually.
Yeah.
So with game number 1, after reading Heavy Polarization and realizing that it's not a once per turn or anything else like that, it kind of probably felt that if you activated Dominus Impulse on a card, like you're definitely going to activate on Polarization. You're now not going to activate on Heavy Polarization.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, do you hit Lunalight Fusion? Do you hit Lunalight Perfume? Would they be more effective? But
no, I think you're right, to be fair. Using it on a monster effect is going to be generally more effective because they're more often hard once per turns.
Yeah.
But we do see it sending the Leo Dancer to the graveyard. And summoning the Yellow Martin here as well, getting more monsters on the field to do things with. We're going to see these two overlaid into, I imagine Baguska, but it could be the Fire King. It's the Fire King.
Yeah, Fire King. Let's go.
Does add a starter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So taking us back to the Fire King day. So Brotherhood of the Fire Fist, Tiger King. Getting us direct access to Tenki here. Again, a fire formation. This is going to be getting a bit more resource here. And you actually, it's not the worst thing getting the Tiger King off the field as well, because it kind of starts opening up a bit more space for you. It then also gets you your materials back to the graveyard as well. So we've already got the graveyard pretty much set up. So all you need to do is get access to that Lunalight Wolf. And then that's going to give you your first Liger Dancer.
Yeah.
But as you've already kind of pre-cautioned, 1 Liger Dancer might not be enough in this end field.
No, I don't think it will be, truthfully. We'll see, because it might just be that they... It depends how they play. It depends what the rest of the hands are as well. There's so many maybes here that we're not sure of as well. But no, I have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm excited to see what Marley ends on, because I'll say... I do really like Lunalight as a deck. I think it's really cool. I like that it has kind of a different win condition to other decks. It's not necessarily reduce life points, it's just get to this big monster, which will then, after that, reduce life points, but a lot of the time you don't even need to do that. It's just the threat of having this monster on the field is enough sometimes.
Yeah, I'm really hoping at some point, I'm just having a look at the Super Duper Polymerization. I would really love to see that card in action right now.
Yeah, very much. We do see the Perfume Dance coming out here, searching the Lunalight Perfume as well, which I'm glad they printed that card, because otherwise Lunalight Perfume's a tricky card to deal with in this deck. Given that it's not a Lunalight, it's a Lunar Space Light card.
Yeah, it's interesting that Ruben's kind of put their hand down. I feel that the Dominus Impulse is probably the only form of interaction here.
Yeah.
And just confirming as well, Ruben is also with one game, and the life points are at 8,000. So don't worry, you haven't missed anything here. Both duelists into game number 3 of round number 6, 8,000 life points apiece. Marley here with Lunalight going first in that all-important third duel, and then working our way into what I can imagine will be an SP Little Knight here.
Wonderful. Interesting choice to use the effects on the Impulse here. I don't know if there's any actual advantage to doing that. I worry, if anything, about Dimension Shifter next turn.
Oh, I mean, yes, but on the flip side, would you be worried about a second Dominus Impulse during your opponent's turn? But I'm trying to think what you would worry about though, because you're not gonna impulse a spell and then having a trap card in graveyard be effective for you.
No.
So I guess it kind of comes down to a monster effect during your opponent's turn that would summon. Would be the only thing you would worry about with an impulse. So I kind of agree with you. It might just be one of them force of habits that every time you summon SP, you have to activate its effect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad choice as such, but I would fear the one of, because that's just my luck. That is unfortunately just my, if I do that, I know I'm getting shifted at the start of next turn. It's just going to happen to me. And we do see that Laggy Dancer coming out as well. The first one of this particular duel going to be a real presence on the field here. Wonder if we'll be able to get to the second one as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's any more resource for Marley to present the second Liger Dance here. I don't feel that an SP Little Knight and the one Liger Dancer is going to be enough, because, and again, I'll be shocked if Ruben hasn't put it in, but being able to get direct access to the Wosu,
Having said that, if he is not able to win here with one Liger Dancer, as in Ruben not able to win here through one Liger Dancer, it just means that Marley has follow-up in another Liger Dancer the following turn.
Yes, true.
So there might be some merit to leaving one. And I do think we've passed turn here.
Yeah, it definitely looks like we've passed turn here. I suppose that the question now comes, because Wosu is actually quite specific. You need to tribute another reptile monster from the hand or a monster your opponent controls. Keeping in mind with Mitsurugi, the idea is that they have...
I think that's a handful of spells, actually.
Yeah, they have a limited amount of monsters that they can actually have. And okay, exactly that. So Marley straight away is reading that and getting rid of the Aramasa straight away.
Just to be safe.
I mean, you still get direct access to... Yeah, there's the Wosu.
If there is something along the lines of any kind of searcher in hand, this might... Oh, no, there was a monster.
Yeah.
There goes that first Liger Dancer. Goodness me, this might be a tricky situation here for Marley, actually. As I said, if he can survive the turn, his follow-up would be rather substantial. But that's if he can survive the turn.
Yeah. Is there any ritual spell here? I think we're going to be able to get some resource now, right? Because we've tributed off our Sargi, so Sargi will be able to trigger its effect to...
Even if you just search prayers, this is going to get you something at this point. Having said that, no, you can obviously just tribute the Wosu from the field. But
correct,
yeah,
and then that's your half of your effect.
I think the Miracle was in hand. I thought it was all spells. I clearly can't see.
Yeah, I think we're just confirming that now. So unless there is another, have we got? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what the Silver Hound. The Silver Hound requires you to have.
Silver Hound, I think he's gone either way.
Now.
Oh no, there we go. It was there.
Banish this card and Lunalight Fusion Monster Grey and negate the activation. So we're getting rid of the ritual spell. Is there a second to follow up, or is this enough? Exactly that.
We did see the prayers added though, which is going to be able to... Oh, okay,
look
interesting.
At the hand. Oh, okay.
I think we actually knew what the hand was, if not mistaken. I think it was more just to stop follow-up, perhaps.
I don't know if we knew the Masquerade.
That was added back to hand by the
Right,
Martin,
okay.
yeah.
So we've got the Prez in hand. Ooh, where's this going to lead? So we're going to use the Prez. We're going to tribute off the Wosu.
Can of course summon the Kusanagi. I'm going to keep calling him Purple Guy because I just can never remember the name Kusanagi.
So as it currently stands, there is a Martin in the graveyard. There is a Liger Dancer in the graveyard. We've got a Polymerization in Marley's hand. We've got the Lunalight Wolf on the field. It's now going to be how much resource we can manage to get from this Kusanagi. But I feel that the Kusanagi being able to add back the prayers is now going to be the big change, because we can now use prayers to tribute from the deck. We've got the Murakumo to come down from the hand. And then I feel that we're at a position where there's not enough Lunalight material in the graveyard for Wolf to be effective.
No.
And unfortunately, I don't feel like, I feel if the purification has been kept in, then that's just going to be another layer for Ruben to kind of insulate this field with.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think Ruben might be able to clinch game this turn. However, if he can't, I don't think there's enough resources on the field or in the hand currently from Ali, but you just never know what the top deck will be, quite frankly.
That's very true. I mean, there's still a Perfume in the graveyard. We've also just got to think that the first, possibly, if the field ends with a Murakumo, it doesn't look like it's a purification, so I'm assuming that might have been taken out for the Wosu, as you kind of correctly...
I don't believe that was properly summoned, so that will stay in the graveyard now.
Correct. Ooh, could be a costly misplay here. So we're going to be attacking.
Yeah, he didn't add the mirror, so I don't think he has a way to access that Murakumo now. I think you're right. I think that's a devastating misplay on Ruben's part there.
So we still have Saji in the graveyard, correct? So that if Marley was to special summon...
Correct.
Another thing that Marley's going to need to remember as well is that it could be very, very costly. Like, a heavy polymerization might not be enough to...
I don't think he's got the life points for it at this point
No,
either.
exactly. It's not going to be enough to get it back. We are going to get SP Little Knight coming back and the Aramasa. So, gives Molly something.
I believe Ruben should be on 7,200 life points currently, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah. So 72 to 44.
Going for the
IP Masquerina.
Okay, interesting. Am I being silly here? Have I missed something? No, I was taking that back, I think.
Yeah, I think the judge is just correcting. Because we're locked into reptiles because of Wosu, I believe.
Of course we are, yes, of course. The only thing that locks in that strategy, yeah.
Yeah, can't special summon nor activate monster effects for rest turn except reptiles.
Yeah.
So here comes SP Little Knight and the Aramasa back to the field.
I was wondering why that was going back. I completely forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah. So we currently have a known polymerization in the hand. We've just drawn what looks like a monster for turn. There is Perfume in the graveyard as well.
Very heavy on engine, so we'd be shocked if it wasn't some kind of play that he'd have to draw.
The Wosu could come back, but I don't believe it does. It's not a form of interaction.
No, but we can add it back next turn with Kusanagi if needs be. Which
True.
I think this is a situation where Marley needs to close out the game this turn.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit tricky. I mean, we've got Wolf. Wolf can get us into Perfumer, I believe, at this current moment in time. And it all comes down to what that card was drawn for turn. And we're about to see it now. Ooh. Oh, no, we're not. He's teasing us.
We're thinking.
And we've still got Martin. I'm trying to remember if Martin returns any monster. Kaleido Chick. Oof. That is a good one to go for.
Pretty darn good. We can send another Moonlight Wolf? What am I thinking of?
No, so
you know the one.
You want to be sending the Leo Dancer.
Leo Dancer, okay.
But then, I agree with you, though. You have to be very, very careful, because if that Wosu can come back from the graveyard, we're just going to find ourselves in the exact same position.
Yeah, very much.
Again,
I think you just need to close that game this turn. I think this needs to be when Marley wins. If Marley can't win here, I don't know how he follows up after this.
I mean, luckily for Marley right now, if we work our way into the Liger Dancer can clear the field. But the Liger Dancer needs... So to attack twice with Liger Dancer...
Which would be enough, actually, because Ruben is on 72 life points, 7,200.
Correct.
So one Liger Dancer might be enough to do it this game.
And we know that the set card is Prez.
Yeah.
Because that was added and then set.
Correct. So it is just the Futsu, the Murakumo, basically the hand rip or the negate, depending which one you want to go with, and the prayers to be able to do whichever he's doing here. Still plenty to play through, so it's going to be difficult for Marley. Not impossible, but difficult.
I think we're going straight for that Liger Dancer, so we're going to be able to use Wolf, banishing 4 materials, going into the Liger Dancer.
I'll be honest, I think this might be game. This might be enough here.
Yeah, I think that misplay of not being able to get Murakumo back into rotation correctly, it could be quite costly, and probably the taking out the Purification could have also been quite costly because the Purification would have stopped some sort of build up here.
Very much so, very much so.
I mean, it's not over until those life points hit 0,
Absolutely.
so nothing is out of the question here. I think Ruben is going to be utilising the prayers, just going to make it a little bit easier, I guess, for Marley to deplete the life points, but there might be a surprise snake in the boot on this one.
You do see the tribute adding the Aramasa, tribute the Kusanagi. Not really sure. I guess if you can force out the Liger Dancer's field wiping effect before it's really truly needed.
How do we do that?
I don't know. It's tricky. This is a difficult situation, I think, but this is tricky for both players to navigate here, actually.
I suppose if you're Marley as well, do you want to try and keep SP Little Knight on the field where it's all possible? Just on the odd case. As you've already mentioned, there should be more than enough that a double Liger Dancer gets to attack twice.
Yeah. And you can't protect your... why is that still there?
So, I mean, the SP Little Knight deals with it. What was the question that you can't protect?
Well, if all of your small... either way, that's a win.
Yeah.
If all of